Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV for the first of our summer vlogs. Feels like ages ago since myself and Boz and Stocky were sat inside the Priestfield for the Family Fun Day doing the final Monday review of the season, but it is still only just under a fortnight ago. Still no news on the new manager. Rumours today are that Steve Evans and Paul Rayner were spotted with Chairman Paul Scally in local Chatham pub, the Ship and Trades. Announcement imminent, I would imagine. Couple of players this week, Luke O'Neill and Billy Bingham, along with coach Ian Cox, have tweeted independently off their own back and said that they are leaving the football club. So we wish them well. So the purpose of this vlog is for me to play manager. I have been trawling through lists of out-of-contract players, some that are not out of contract, and I've compiled a list of 8 that I think could be feasible targets for the Gills, regardless of who the new manager is, regardless of the budget. So I'm going to run through them. I'm hoping that you don't agree with all of them. I'm hoping that you don't disagree with all of them. And I hope that you do agree with some. And we can create some good debate and discussion on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all the usual social media outlets. So I'm going to crack on with the first one. We'll start in position. So I'm going to do goalkeeper, defence, midfield and then attack. And the first one is this name. As we're aware, obviously Thomas Holy's contract situation is still up in the air and we won't know what is going on, have any clue until the retained list does eventually get published. Hopefully be next week. We always do seem to be one of the last ones to do it, and as frustrating it is, we just have to realise that that's probably the way of the world in terms of Gills. But Nathan Ashmore is the first name on my list, 29 years of age. Made 47 appearances last season in the National League for Ebbsfleet in tricky circumstances, it has to be said. 47 goals conceded, so it's definitely exactly won a game, but he kept 16 clean sheets. And over 2 campaigns with the club, he has made 96 appearances for them and kept 30 shutouts. So a decent record, highly rated in non-league circles if you read reports on social media and on the internet. And is available on a free transfer until the end of May because of all the financial problems at Ebbsfleet. After that, I'm not sure what would happen. He does have a contract until the summer of 2020, but I think it's one that we should look at. Geographically, he's local, highly rated, like I say, 29, not too old or too young for a goalkeeper. And yeah, it wouldn't be one that I'd be averse to seeing come into the football club. The second one is a player that's already in the Football League, and that is this man. Newport custodian Joe Day is a name that I mentioned about 3 or 4 seasons ago when Justin Edinburgh was taking charge of his first full campaign. I think he was out of contract back then, I think summer of 2015. Nothing ever came of it. There were rumours that I think we were linked in the same summer as when Mark Byrne came across from Wales. 28 years of age, so again a good age for a goalkeeper. He's made 51 appearances this season. Conceded 60, so just over 1 a game, but 21 clean sheets, over 200 club games, 150 plus in League 2. Starred in Newport's incredible FA Cup runs of the last 2 seasons where they've taken on the likes of Tottenham and Man City and Middlesbrough and Leicester and Leeds, and he's done very well in games like that. As recently as last weekend, saved a penalty in the shootout against Mansfield that took Newport to Wembley for a League 2 playoff final. So in terms of situation, slightly trickier because of the fact that things may change if they get promoted or don't get promoted, but a very good keeper at Football League level. And another one who I wouldn't be against coming into the football club if Thomas Holy were to leave. I've picked 2 alternatives. As other ones we can look at. I'm not going to go into too much detail with them, but that's Jordan Archer and Tom King, both been released by Millwall in the Championship. I think Jordan Archer's a decent keeper at Football League level. He's played plenty of games in the Championship, and I know Tom King done all right early part of the season on loan at Wimbledon, so that's maybe 2 other options. But move on now to the defence, and the first name is a centre-back, because I know we've got Gabriel Zakwani and Max Amar contracted. There's talk that Conor Ogilvy's going to come back on a permanent, so I think we need one more because I think Alex Lacey might move on. And this man, I'm quite surprised, has been released by his club Peterborough. It is none other than Ryan Tafazolli, a player that I've rated for 3 or 4 years now. Again, similarly to Joe Day, when I did one of these articles a couple of years ago, when I was still doing the blog, not the vlog, I had Tafazolli down as one that we should have a look at when he was at Mansfield. He'd done very well in League Two for them, played over 100 games for them. I think he was their captain. Since moving to Peterborough in the summer of 2016, he's played over 100 times in League One. Done very well. Big, tall, commanding, can play, strong in the tackle. In terms of 2018-19 stats, he played 47 times. He scored a solitary goal, claimed 2 assists and kept 10 clean sheets. And I think if he was someone to come into the football club, then I think he'd strengthen our back line. Obviously, there's a link to the man that is heavily touted to come in and be our manager, and that's Steve Evans, having played under him at Peterborough last season. So I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing in trying to get him into the football club, but only time will tell. But yeah, Ryan Tafazolli, highly rated centre-half. Surprised he's been let go, and would definitely like to see him come to the Priestfield. Next up is a couple of right-backs, and the first one is this fella. Paul Caddis, loads of experience, played in the Championship with Birmingham for a couple of seasons, 89 times over 2 seasons in the second tier of the English game. Since then, he's had 3 seasons at League One level, and he's played 64 times. 31 years of age, would provide loads of experience, loads of leadership. And obviously, right back now seems to be an area where we need to get someone in, with the news that Luke O'Neill was moving on. Obviously played in a struggling Bradford side last season, but we all know about the well-documented problems that they had off the pitch. I think it was a losing battle for anyone that was playing in that team, so I don't want to read too much into that. Obviously no footballer wants a relegation on their CV, but been released out of contract, available on a free transfer, played 30 times last season, scored 2 goals, claimed 4 assists and 7 clean sheets, which is not a disaster considering that Bradford finished bottom of the league. And I just think in terms of experience and leadership, he'd be a great addition if we got younger players higher up the pitch, the likes of Brandon Hanlon and Elliot List and Regan Charles Cook, and that type of player. So definitely one I'd have a look at. And the second fullback is someone who I liked when he was in this division a couple of seasons ago, and that is this man. Conor McLaughlin, Northern Ireland international, 27 years of age, has just been released by Millwall out of the Championship. Didn't get loads of game time at that level, but he did take 35 times in 2 seasons. Is a full international, like I say. 2018-19, he played 13 times. No goals or assists in a struggling Millwall side. Only 2 clean sheets, but I just think if you go back to his time at Fleetwood, he was a very, very good right back at this level. I think it was back end of 2016-17 when Fleetwood were flying high and challenging in the playoffs. I think they had a shot of going up automatically until the last day. Were fighting Bolton all the way to the line, weren't they? I think, and they come to us and won 3-2, second to last game of 2016-17, and I'm sure he had a really good game against us, set up a goal. Played over 120 games for Fleetwood since 2014-15 at League One level. 8 goals and 6 assists, which ain't a disaster for a fullback. Would definitely be someone I'd very interested in. If you can get him back playing regularly, which he hasn't been doing in the Championship, then I think he's one hell of a fullback. 27 years of age, still loads of years ahead of him, but plenty of experience at the same time. So that's my 3 defenders. That's Ryan Tafazolli, Paul Caddis and Conor McLaughlin. And in terms of alternatives, I've seen today that he has been released by Southend, and that's a left back. That is Ben Coker. I know he's coming back from a horrendous ACL injury. Only played 17 times last season, I think Lincoln may be interested, but I think he's a decent left back at this level, 29 years of age. So if we went down that route and bought him, and then obviously that free Barry Fuller up to go back to right hand side of defence. So yeah, that's my alternative, Ben Coker. We'll now move on to midfield. And the first one is another player coming out of the National League, coming out of Ebbsfleet United, and it is this man. That is versatile, attacking-minded midfielder Corey Whiteley, 27 years of age. He can play central attacking midfield, left midfield or right midfield, so that would give us plenty of options. across the middle of the park, or if we was to play a 4-2-3-1 system or a 4-3-3 system. Another one who, without sounding too vulture-like, like I tweeted the other day, we could potentially take advantage of all the financial crisis going on at Ebbsfleet, because he's another one who, despite being under contract, is available on a free transfer until the end of May. In terms of 2018-19, he made 46 appearances for the Fleet and scored 8 goals, provided 5 further assists. And overall for the club, he's played 88 times in that division over 2 seasons, and his overall record stands at 88 games, 19 goals and 11 assists, so directly involved in 30, which is better than a goal in 3. And if you include his time at Dagenham and Redbridge in the same division, his stats go up to 129 appearances, 35 goals and 16 assists. So a really good record. Be interesting to see if he can step up. I know a lot of our fans sometimes say that we have to try and delve into non-league, and then we do it and we get moaned at for taking the cheap option. But I think both him and Ashmore have been playing at the top level of non-league football, if you want to call it that, for quite a while now. But it is basically a professional league in all but name. Most of the clubs, I think, if not all, are now full-time, trained during the day, like Football League teams. So Corey Whiteley would be one that I'd be interested in having a look at. And the second one would be this man coming up now on your screen. Josh Morris has been confirmed that he is leaving Scunthorpe United. His time at the club has come to an end after their relegation into League 2 at the end of this season. Absolutely pivotal 2 seasons before this one just gone, as Scunthorpe pushed and challenged for promotion. 2 playoff tilts. Unfortunately, they come up short in both. But if you look at his stats, in 2016-17, he played 52 times and scored 20 goals, provided 19 assists, which is absolutely staggering. So he was involved in 39 goals in them 52 appearances that season. And the season after, 2017-18, 51 games again, 12 goals, 5 assists. Injury hit campaign this time around, but still influential when he did get himself on the park. He played 22 times, he scored 5 goals and he set up 6 more. So his overall record at Scunny, 125 games, 37 goals and 30 assists. So 67 goals directly involved in, which is phenomenal record at League 1 level. There is talk, I know, that he potentially did play under Steve Evans at Rotherham. So again, similarly to Tafazoli, it'd be interesting what relationship he had with the man that could become our new gaffer. Only time will tell. But on a free transfer, I think he's someone we just simply have to be having a look at. An alternative to this one, Sami Samodic, Colchester United, out of contract, but only 23, so I'd imagine there'd be a fee involved. It'd have to go to tribunal. Had a very good season in 2018-19. Made nearly 50 appearances, scored over 15 goals and provided plenty of other assists for his teammates. So that would be my alternate. And now on to the solitary striker that I've found. Right, the one front man that I've had a look at, purely on the basis that I've trawled through lists, and there wasn't loads that jumped out the page at me, but this is one who I mentioned in January as a possible target. Another non-league diamond in the rough, potentially, 25 years old, Paul McCallum of Eastleigh. And he does have league experience as well. But last season, 2018-19, in the National League, he played 43 times for the club. He scored 27 goals and provided 2 assists. Out and out number 9. Scores all types of goals. Just looking at reports about him on social media, Eastleigh fans really rate him. A lot of other clubs fans really rate him as well, knowing that he's out of contract in the summer. Did score in the recent National League playoff final defeat on Salford. 1-1 draw, and unfortunately for McCallum and his teammates, they lost in a penalty shootout and didn't go up. Overall at Eastleigh, scored 35 goals in 69 appearances over 2 seasons at 0.51 per game, which is an excellent ratio. And previously he scored 15 goals in 43 appearances for Leyton Orient in League 2. So his total over the last 4 seasons, I think 4 or 5 seasons, is 50 goals in 112 games at 0.45 per game. It's a record that stands up. If you look at Tom Eves potentially leaving, his record for us is about 0.4 per game. Obviously McCallum's done it at a slightly lower level, but similarly to the likes of Corey Whiteley and Nathan Ashmore that I've mentioned. I don't think the National League is a million miles behind Football League standard anymore, if at all. You only have to look at the teams that have gone into that division and then struggled to come straight back up. Leyton Orient, Barnet, Wrexham, who else is in there? Big teams. Tranmere took a while to get out of there, so it's a competitive division. I was listening to one of the Kent Online podcasts just today on the way home from work, the Jay Saunders interview, and he says that the strength in that division is unbelievable now, and it's effectively, for me, in my opinion, League 3 in all but name. So I don't think it'd be a massive risk if we were to take a punt on a couple of non-league players, not in the same way that we did with a Liam Nash type who come from miles down the ladder. These are players that have Football League experience or National League experience, have played plenty of games. So yeah, Paul McCallum would be one I'd be interested to see come in, and he could maybe complement the likes of Elliot List and Brandon Hanlon well. But again, it depends on the system. If we're only going to play one up top next season, then maybe 3 strikers would be enough. If we're going to play 4-4-2, then we'd probably need to get another one in. But at the moment, there wasn't too many names screaming at me and jumping off the page. My alternative to Paul McCallum would be the lad that we did have on loan last season, and that's Tarvon Campbell. Didn't play enough for us, but what I saw, I thought he'd done all right. I thought there was potential there. Still only 23, versatile, can play through the middle, can play from either side. So maybe if you implemented him as an actual front man, or whether you wanted to play him as in one of them roles behind a front man, I think he could do a job. 29 appearances last season, he scored 5 times and provided 4 assists. It doesn't scream prolific, but he is still relatively young in football terms, so he'd be one that I'd maybe keep an eye on. And keep an eye on his contract situation as the summer progresses. Right, that is it. That is my list of players, potential targets. You know we won't sign any of them. What do you think? Let me know. Comment down below on YouTube, as we always ask you. Get involved on Twitter and Facebook. Let's create some discussion. If you could pick 8 out of contract players, who would you go for? What do you think of the 8? Do you disagree with some, agree with some, disagree with all, agree with all? I doubt you agree with all of them. I doubt you disagree with all of them. But let us know what you think. As always, thanks for watching. Not sure when the next vlog will come throughout the summer. Hopefully we'll have some sort of management announcement in the next few days. So middle part of next week, there might be something to talk about regarding an appointment and a retained release list. But until then, as always, up the Gills.